everybody. Donna Schwartz here from DonnaSchwartzMusic.com, the site to bring your saxophone playing to the next level. I wanted to share some of my thoughts, some of my impressions from the recent Namm show in Anaheim this past weekend. And I have a new article out with some of those really cool thoughts and products and all that kind of thing. But I also wanted to share with you some more stuff that I didn't share in the article tonight. First things first, though, I've got to tell you this quote because I think it's really good. I forgot that I had put this out, gosh, I guess maybe a year or two ago or something like that. This quote is from Bobby Shew. And if you don't know who Bobby Shew is, great jazz trumpeter. Okay, great all-around trumpeter, to be honest with you. Here's his quote, and this applies directly to Namm. There are two things you can do with music: impress people or touch people. Think about what your intention is when you play. Well, there's a whole lot of impressing going on that Namm floor. And if you've been following my Facebook page, or if you're one of my Facebook friends, you'll see that I shared a couple of videos from the Namm floor and from other types of things as well. And definitely a lot of impressive playing, I must say. So what I wanted to talk to you about, first of all, the purpose of Namm. Namm stands for the National Association of Music Merchants, and what it's for is for retailers, for buyers, distributors to connect, to network, and to make those connections so that they can get products sold, get the right products for customers to satisfy customers' needs. In the last few years, there's been a focus on music education, particularly music educators, getting them involved with Namm, showing them new products that can help students, that can get more students involved with music education. That would be the best thing for all of us, because the more people that are playing instruments, the more that we're going to see more products coming out. So that's the real focus of Namm. But what it's become is like a free concert. And I got to tell you, there were some really great free concerts going on there. But it's become like a free concert. Just about at a lot of the booths, you'd stop by, and all of a sudden, people would pick up a horn and just start jamming. And it was definitely a lot of fun. So much fun that on Sunday, if you were registered to go to Namm, you received an email from Namm that said, well, we've been receiving some complaints about the sound levels, and we're going to remind you to tone it down, or else, you know, some exhibits are going to be closed. So I have to share this story because it's so funny. So at the Jodie Jazz booth, great Mouthpieces, and Jodie's a great guy. So a jam was happening, right? So we had a whole bunch of great players there, and I'll talk about the players in a minute. So they're playing There'll Never Be Another You, and they're kind of going at it, and then they all play their solos, and then Jodie's going back to the head of the tune at the end. And so he's like, all right, guys, we got to keep it down. So he plays the head of the tune like 1930s, 40s style. Just really soft and really pretty. It was so funny. I don't know if I taped that particular part, but if I did, you're going to probably hear me laughing in the background because it was just that funny. And then Brian Miller's coming in doing with fills, and he's like, you know, kind of playing loud, and it was just too funny. It was a lot of fun. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you about some of the really cool things that I saw there. First of all the booths, like, locations changed. All right, and at first I thought it was really annoying, but you know what? It was actually a good idea. They kept things that were more related closer together. So like a lot of the woodwind, brass types of things were closer together. A lot of the guitar types of things closer together, strings, etc. So for most people that worked out pretty well. And it did honestly cut down on the noise level, because I've been there the last few years, and I can tell you that sometimes it was just too much, you know, especially if you were near the drum section. It was really hard. Or, you know, someone's wailing away on an electric guitar. So this year it was better. However, there were points where it was getting fairly loud. People were getting a little bit too excited, okay? But some of the new things that I found were this. In terms of, I'll start off with the accessories, because I thought this was the most exciting thing. And I also want to put a teaser out there. I forgot. Coming very soon in a couple of months, my friend Nick Manella and I, by the way, Nick is the one that has the 10-minute jazz lesson podcast. If you haven't checked that out, you really should. Just type in 10-minute jazz lesson podcast and you'll find his website. Great podcast. You learn a lot from that. Nick and I are going to team up for something, for a new project. So keep your eyes peeled. I'll definitely let you know. And if you subscribe to my weekly newsletter, where if you're a new subscriber, you get a free video, 3 tips to fatten up your saxophone tone. But you'll also be the first to know about that new project that's coming up. So anyway, we met a whole bunch of people, and or I met a whole bunch of people, and one of the newest items that I thought was interesting was something by Nate Rulon Brown, who I just recently made friends with on Facebook. And he gave a great demonstration. It's called key leaves, all right? Not tea leaves, key leaves. And it's key leaves, and it's also vent vine. Now, this is for saxophones. What it is, for a lot of us, some pads tend to stick. And I know some people are going to be like, oh, my pads don't stick, or I use root pads, or this or that, or whatever, or if you clean out your horn, they won't stick. Look, I get it. But for some folks, pads stick, okay? The key leaves they're made out of silicone, and for the pads like the G sharp that remains closed, the C sharp, and the E flat, those are the biggest culprits. So the key leaves are designed to keep those pads open just a little bit, to vent the pads when you're done playing. And he's done extensive research over the past year, and they found that, and I think I'm right about this quote, I think it's 98% of those that were, studied in this survey, 98% of the time, those pads did not stick. So the key claim is that the pads won't stick, and also the pads will last longer. All right. I'm going to put the link in the notes over here. It's keyleaves.com. Now, the other interesting product that he had, and by the way, it's for all saxophones. The other product that he had that I thought was interesting, and I would have bought it, but it wasn't quite ready for tenor saxes yet. It was called his Vent Vine. And what it is, it's the end plug. It's an end plug replacement, and it's got these little like vines. And what it is, you know how the palm keys can get really disgusting? Those are also closed keys as well. And they get kind of gross. The pads get kind of gross because those are the first pads that hit in terms of the condensation coming down the horn. And for some of us that produce a lot of saliva, it can get to be a problem. So the vent vine are these little attachments that stick to the end plug that keep each palm key up just by a little bit to vent those keys. Now, like I said, I would have bought one, but it wasn't quite ready for the tenor saxes. It has to be custom fitted. So this product is like, a month or 2 old that Rulon Brown just came out with. So I'm really excited about it, and I'm going to be talking with him further about that. Now, some of you are probably saying, well, Donna, I keep key clamps on my horn. That's good, all good and fine. But for those of you that don't, particularly if you're just practicing at home, you're leaving your horn out on the stand, you're not necessarily traveling, or you're traveling everywhere or whatever, it's a good solution to vent those pads and, number one, not have them stick, but also to not have them get all disgusting and gross. So again, check out keyleaves.com. I think that's going to be very interesting. And I have to tell you, I was talking with him for quite a while. There were 3 guys that came up. They were part of a horn section, and they were older guys that had been playing together for a long time. They were grilling him. They were grilling Rulon and saying, well, what about this? Or what about that? Or, how do I put that on? It was actually kind of funny, but it was a good test for Rulon to deal with, to work on his sales skills. So keyleaves.com. That was one that I did not put in my article, my Namm recap article that's on my website at donnaschwartzmusic.com. I wanted to talk about it tonight. It's a little easier to talk about than to write down. Okay, the next thing I wanted to talk about was from my friend Morrow at Reed Geek. Okay, cool Reed Geek case, right? Awesome. He's got, he's got a new Klangbogen. I hope I'm saying that right. My German student will beat me if I don't say it right. Klangbogen. The Klangbogen is an attachment to the neck screws, so that it really, a lot of people are using buzz screws, like Matt Lee's buzz screw right here. Well, let me get that a little bit better. okay? Or my friend Don Trimble from Orange County, Orange Coast Saxophones, he's working on his buzz screws too. They do make a difference. I'm really not going to lie to you. I'm not a gadget person, but man, this made my eyes go like this when I heard these things. But anyway, Moro's got the Klangbogen, and it does the same thing. It has to do with the acoustics of the horn. And I did an interview with Moro quite a while ago. We spoke about the Klangbogen, and a lot of people were interested. A lot of people thought I was full of crap. But if you try it out, I'm telling you, there's a difference there. So he made, there's a new Klangbogen out that's one piece. Instead of the screw, and then you screw it into the Klangbogen piece, it's actually a one-piece thing now. So check out reedgeek.com for that. But he also came out with a new Reed Geek. And he's got the double geek, he's got the classic, which is the silver one, he's got the black diamond, which is good for synthetic reeds, but this is the bullet over there. Okay, so this this is not the double geek one. Yeah, you could see this now. So you could see this almost feels like a nail file in a way. And you would use, I don't have my reed on me close by, but you would use this edge on parts of the reed as well. And the interesting thing is that there was someone that was at Moro's booth with me, and he was saying to me how sometimes when the tip of his reed gets a little chip in it, he'll use like a nail file to just kind of, you know, even it out. Well, he was using this edge of the bullet to kind of even it out. And Moro was looking at him like, I never thought to use it that way. And this guy was like, yeah, that's what I do, you know, and this will make it a little easier for me instead of using the sandpaper, I should say the sandpaper, to fix that. So he was doing that. I thought that was interesting. But there's all the different edges on here, you know, the pencil eraser type of thing, okay, the beveled edge. Okay, so this is really, really interesting stuff. I'm not going to give all the information on all these things right now. I'm going to wait until I reveal my surprise about the new project I have with Nick, so that you know, you'll get more information about that later. All right, so that's Reed Geek. Oh, okay. As most of you know, I did a series on flying with your musical instrument, and that was very popular with a lot of people because it's a huge, huge pain point. Okay. A lot of folks have had instruments destroyed or damaged on airplane flights. And I talked about all the ways to protect your horn, cases and whatnot. Well, one of my friends that I was jamming with, I was invited to participate in the jam, the Leger Jodie Jazz Rovner Jazz Jam on Friday night, which was a total blast. And I'll talk about that in a minute. One of the guys that I was jamming with, we're at one of these booths, and I'm looking at his case, I'm like, that's really small. And he had his tenor out. I'm like, don't tell me your tenor fits in that case. There's no way on earth that your tenor fits in that case. He said, yes. You're probably wondering, Donna, what case? Tell me what case. It was the Wiseman London cases. Okay, Wiseman, W-I-S-E-M-A-N. I have the pictures that I took of the outside of his case and the inside that had a tenor and a soprano. It had space for a tenor and a soprano in there. They fit securely. They didn't touch each other, and it closed up into this thin, small case. I was in shock. So this is going to be, again, I'll put the link later on, but if you go to my website, donnaschwartzmusic.com, and you go down to the bottom, you'll see Flying with Your Musical Instrument Part 1. I updated it to include pictures and the link to Wiseman cases. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I picked up the case. It was heavy without the tenor in it. It was really heavy. There are backpack straps. You're going to need them for that case. But for those of you that go touring, for those of you that travel a lot for your job and want to bring your tenor or bring two instruments, I mean, there's triple cases. It's crazy. That you should check those out. They're made out of carbon fiber. They're really, really good. Okay, so I wanted to bring that out, wanted to point that out before I forget. Okay, what else? Key leaves. Oh, peak stands. Okay, yeah, so I can't show you all the peak stands because, well, I'm filming with peak stands holding my stuff. Peak stands holding my iPad. Peak stands holding my, well, peak stands music stand. I've got peak stands for boom mics. What's awesome about peak music stands, and yes, they do endorse me, and they endorse me because I use their stuff because it works, okay? Their stuff is durable, it's light, and it makes sense. Okay, they have these levers. I don't know about you, when I'm using a boom mic at like a jam or something like that, or I'm going on stage and they don't want us using wireless mics, I have to use the mics on stage, you know, it's really hard to loosen some of those mics, some of those fittings to adjust the mic. It was ridiculous. In fact, I had difficulty at the jam on Friday night. I wish they had a peak stand, because the peak stand has a simple lever to just open up and adjust. It's stupidly simple. So definitely check out Peak music stands. My saxophone rests on Peak music stands. They've got the single stand, tenor and alto, the double, triple stand that holds the soprano, alto, tenor, or clarinet, flute stands, all that kind of thing. And they've got the ANFREE, ANFREE, the swabs as well. So definitely check those out. That was really cool. Okay, I wanted to get that out there too. Now, horns. I'm happy to say that this year, when I was trying out a whole bunch of horns, a lot of them were set up properly, meaning that they weren't put out in bad shape, you know, having leaks or, you know, like rods that were loose or anything like that. Which is good, because last year I was trying out horns from P. Moriat, from Eastman, and I got a really bad impression from those horns. And I said to myself, I'm not going to recommend them. The notes aren't coming out from the horn. Why would I recommend a horn that has leaks? You know? But this year things changed, and it was a lot better. So let me talk a little bit about those horns. Let me go with the Eastman horns first. The Eastman horns, one of my he wasn't necessarily my student, but he actually helped me with one of my online products for students in New York. It was my NISMA Demystified product. It's a product to help students get through auditions in New York, where I used to judge, and I still do. Every year I would judge solo competitions. And so this friend of mine now, great player, AJ Boloco, okay? Augie Boloco, actually likes to be called now. He plays on Eastman Horns. So I was really curious to try them out last year. Man, they weren't set up. It was bad. It was bad. And I'm like, wow, how is he playing these horns? Like, no horn that I played seemed to work. This year was much better. Okay, all the horns except for maybe one didn't have leaks. Yeah, all the horns except one didn't have leaks. And there were some really nice horns there. I really liked them a lot. And, you know, nice full sound throughout the range of the horn. They were set up well. Those are definitely horns to consider. And I was trying out the tenors. I wasn't trying out the altos. The other horns that disappointed me last year but made me pleasantly surprised this year were the P. Moriats. Now, I know a lot of folks use these horns. They like them. And I thought to myself, why? You know, because last year I had such a horrible experience with them. But now I see why. And I would say all of those horns were set up well. I really liked a lot of them. I liked the System 76 was pretty cool, but I liked the influence models. Those were really, really nice. Those were the 66 RX. Okay, I can't see right now. I'm covering my face. But, you know, if you're looking for some really good horns, the P. Moriats are also really, really good. The prices were a little higher than I expected. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't remember the prices for the Eastman horns. I have it. I took a picture on my phone, and I also took a picture for the P. Moriats. These were a little bit more costly than I thought, but I got to say they were made really well. They sounded really good throughout the entire range of the horn. They felt good. The key work felt good. It was a nice full tone. So something to definitely consider. Again, some of you are like, yeah, of course, Donna, duh. Yeah, well, you know, I'm glad that they had someone set up their horns better this year. And I actually said that to them. I said, you know, this is good, because I tell you, I really didn't like what I heard last year. Kim's Korea. A lot of folks play those horns. I should have grabbed a flyer. I didn't. I tried out their tenors, and what was really interesting was that as soon as I played it, the sound was just really projected. It was really pretty cool, I gotta say. I don't think those are the right horns for me, though, because it just didn't feel as good as what I wanted in terms of the key work and stuff like that. I did like the projection, though. I thought it was awesome, and a lot of my friends play Kim's Korea horns, and they sound amazing on them. So that's another horn to consider. They're also a little bit up there in price too, but I think the quality has gotten better over the years. I really do. So that's another one to consider. Another one that I've been talking about for a long time to a lot of people locally and some friends is the Ishimori. Ishimori. Those are great horns. I describe it as a Selmer Mark VI meeting a Yamaha. It's the sound of the Mark VI with the intonation and precision of a Yamaha horn. They're made really, really well and great sound. A lot of well-known people play on those horns, like Eric Alexander. I know Jeff Kashiwa, who I jammed with, which was awesome. He uses the Ishimori necks. So great horns, another one to check out. Now what really surprised me, and I never ever would have tried out these horns, were the Trevor James saxophones. I always knew them as flutes. You know, I just equated certain brands you equate with certain types of instruments. So I think Trevor James, I think flute. Well, they had saxophones. And it was funny because my friend Eric had said to me, "Hey Donna, did you try out the Trevor James horns?" I'm like, "No. I mean, they make flutes." He's like, "No, you got to try out the saxophones." I'm like, "Why?" And he goes, "It's like a Mark VI. It feels and sounds like a Mark VI, and they're not that expensive." I'm like, "Really?" So I went over there, and one of the guys I was jamming with that Friday night, J Sax, okay, John is his name, really great player, amazing player. He was over there trying out the altos. I'm like, "Hey, John." He's like, "Hey." And then I see Brian Miller, and you're going to see him in a lot of the videos that I've been sharing in my articles and also on my Facebook page and also with my friends. Amazing player, okay? He works for Jodie Jazz. He represents them. He plays on Trevor James horns too. And I was like, okay, there's something to this. That's called social proof, folks. So I go over there. I try the first tenor. I'm like, oh, wow, this feels really good. And then I try the signature series, the raw one. And I was like, wow, I was won over. They are really, really good horns, and the price is right. The price is very good. Okay, so definitely check out Trevor James. They're made in England. Okay, and also the contact person that I have is in Vancouver, but you got to check them out. They're really good horns, okay? Big recommendation going there. And in fact, I bought a horn, all right? So I'll be talking more about them in a future Facebook Live, and I'll do a little bit of a demo and stuff like that. Okay, so those were basically the horns that I tried out. I did try out a Korean brand. I can't for the life of me say it, a Sadu or something like that. Very nice looking horns. For me, the key work didn't fit so well. I felt like between the B flat, the B and the bis key, there was way too much of a space. And I've got very narrow fingers, and my finger fit in between the B and the bis key. So I mentioned that to them. I said, that's actually not very good. You know, so that was one thing with that. I know other people that have tried out those horns. You know, it was recommended I try them out, and they really like them. So I don't want my experience to taint you so much, but I do need to make you aware that with one of those horns, yeah, it was basically the silver one. It just, my finger fit in between, and it shouldn't have. Okay. Okay, mouthpieces. All right. So if you don't know it, Matt Lee, West Coast Sax. All right, he's got two new mouthpieces out: the mother roll mouthpieces, the Moem, and he's got the Mofo. I'm not going to go into what that stands for, but the Mofo. Really, really awesome, exciting mouthpieces. These are in collaboration with Theo Wane. So he was at the Theo Wane booth over the weekend, and he probably put up some great videos of people trying out those mouthpieces. They're really, really good. I like the Moem a lot. I really do. Okay. Theo has a new mouthpiece out called the Fire, and my friend Brittany Atterbury out on the East Coast, she was using that mouthpiece, and man, she's got a sound. She uses the Korea Kim, Kim's Korea saxophone with Theo's Fire mouthpiece, and whoa, it was like all my hair was like whoosh, standing up, and I got a lot of hair. So it was a really, really exciting mouthpiece. It's small chamber, like the Mindy A-Bear model, but it was just a really nice, well-constructed mouthpiece. So those were those new mouthpieces. If you saw some of the videos I put up in my article and also on my Facebook page, I did a lot of filming from the Jodie Jazz booth because they had a lot of music going on, a lot of jams going on. And one in particular, Brian Miller, who I mentioned, another new person that I met him at the jam as well. He was playing that Superjet, that's a silver mouthpiece. Man, is that powerful or what? Holy cow. Now that guy, you know, he's a powerful player. He's a great player, highly skilled. And I will tell you this, at the Leger Jodie Jazz Rovner Jam, at the end, the last tune, everybody was invited up to play. So they were like, what, 25, 30 of us on the stage, something like that. And Brian was off to the side because there was just too many of us on the stage. He wasn't mic'd. Well, you could hear him just as if he was mic'd. Okay, just to give you an idea, there was super projection in that mouthpiece. And you'll hear some of that in the videos that I posted on the Facebook page and the YouTube links that are in my article, my Namm recap article. So that's pretty exciting, I got to tell you. And Tim Price, who I met up with, he's playing on the Superjet. When he was at the jam, and it was really cool because this is the first time we actually played together. Such a great player and a great guy. And oh my God, he was just as powerful as Brian. I mean, it was crazy. He didn't need a mic either. Oh my gosh, it was just perfect. His beautiful projection right out there, great player. That was really cool. That was really awesome to see as well. I talked about the cases. I know that, and I didn't check this out. I'm kind of kicking myself. I know Matt Lee's been talking about the SJB, I think it is. Oh, I hope I got that right. New cases that are, I think, carbon fiber. He does a review. Check out Matt's Facebook page and West Coast Sax, and I think he does a review on there, or look on YouTube, or SJQ, I think it is, the SJQ cases as well. Reeds. A lot of people have been talking about the Marca, M-A-R-C-A, Marca Reeds. They were there. Unfortunately, when I got there, they ran out of samples for tenor, the tenor jazz reeds, the size that I needed. So I'm hoping that they're going to send me some samples. But a lot of people have been raving about those reeds. They're not easy to get. However, if you live in New York, in the area that I used to live in, on Long Island, that's right, it's one word, Long Island, Papa's Music, which online it's Fred Weiner Music, W-E-I-N-E-R. Just look up weinermusic.com. That's a great resource, by the way. weinermusic.com. He's got a ton of woodwind things for you. CDs, horns, mouthpieces, reeds, and I'm talking all the top line stuff, including student stuff. You got to check that out. But they carry the Marca reeds, okay? There's probably another place or two in New York, but I'm going to be talking more with Marca Reeds at a later date and getting more information on that. I also was talking with Van Doren with their new Juneau Reads, and someone had said to me, and I haven't tried it yet, but the Juneau Reads, they're for beginners for the most part. They're student reeds. However, they do make them in all the strengths. But this person was saying to me that, you know, every Juneau Reed I put on plays right away, right out of the box. Never a problem. I thought, well, that's interesting. And he goes to me, why do these kids get the best reeds and we have to do all this adjusting? Well, it's always been the opposite. It's always been the kids get the crappiest reeds and then they quit. So I think it's a great thing that Van Doren's making those Juneau Reads, and maybe something to try out, you know, get a sample or something like that and see if they work for you. But what this person did say to me is that they just don't last as long. I'm not sure. You know, I'm just passing on some of the stuff that I learned. The other thing two more things I wanted to tell you about. Now this is not saxophone related directly, but if you like to record music, if you like to use Audacity or even things like Pro Tools or Logic, there's something that's really cool out there, and it's free. Yeah, you heard me, it's free. It's called BandLab, B-A-N-D-L-A-B, bandlab.com. I just happened to be walking by their booth, and it was a little confusing to me, to be honest with you, because they were talking about being this whole big, like, social media resource and stuff. What it is, it's like an online Audacity, except easier to use. So you could record into it. You can get people collaborating with you. That's the social media aspect of that. You can get people, I guess, commenting, collaborating, adding some things. If you wanted them to, what was the word that he used? I guess use your track, but make like a remix or something, you can do that as well. It was really very interesting, and they actually won a Namm award. I was watching the part of the presentation, they were taking the picture. Check it out, bandlab.com. It's free, all right? So for those of you that don't have Pro Tools or Logic and are frustrated with Audacity because it's not exactly user-friendly, you may want to check that out. The last thing that I wanted to talk about was from another endorser of mine. Now, if you see me walking around all the time, and those people that know me, a lot of times I'm going to pull out of my pocket Lip Ease because I think this is really good stuff. I prefer this over Chop Saver. Now, I love the fact that musicians are making lip balm because we're the ones that are really using this. And this is all organic. This is great stuff, and they come in great flavors too. But not only it's not only the makers of Lip Ease that endorse me, it's also Vocalese, and they're really part of the parent company Green Peak Wellness. And they make these packages. I made a video, actually. It's in my article, and it's up on YouTube. Musician Wellness, they make these care packages. Now, what is this? You're probably saying, oh, come on, really? You're going to push this crap on me? No, what it is, folks, is that you've got to be on top of your game when you're performing. When you're performing every night, especially if you're on tour, you can't afford to get sick. You start to come down with all that flu that's going around. You gotta prevent that, okay? And what's in these care packages? It's a monthly program. It's specially curated for you for whatever your health needs may be. But they'll put in these supplements that, number one, will help your immune system. Will also it's for like mental acuity. It's also for helping you get to sleep. Because a lot of times when you're playing shows till late at night, and then you've got to take, an early bus in the morning, you got to get some sleep. There's some great things in here. Vocalese is in here as well. Check out musicianwellness.com. And again, go on my website, donnaschwartzmusic.com. Scroll to the bottom. You're going to see the recent articles. Namm Recap is one of them. It's in there as well. Okay, so those are some of the things that I wanted to talk about, some of the things that I found. You'll also see some more in the article that I just mentioned. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, this session. On that note, take care. Have a great day.